Buying a KTM 1290 Super Adventure, think you'll just hop on and ride off into the sunset? Well, you can, but it won't be all that fun. To really enjoy it, you'll need to tweak and tune it for your kind of riding. Otherwise, it's just a very expensive draft version. I've been down that road, literally. And here are the upgrades that actually made a difference. Hey guys, great to see you again. I've ridden thousands of kilometers on both versions of the KTM 1290 Super Adventure S and R. Over time, I've put together a list of really necessary upgrades. And this info applies to both the S 2018 model and the R 2021 model. Let's be clear, I'm not talking about fancy CNC machined parts. They might look nice, but for me they are not essential. This is about real practical modifications. What's worth installing right away and what you can skip. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, so feel free to share your experience. Where do we start? Spring came early, and I'm already riding my KTM 1290 Super Adventure R. And I know many riders are looking at this bike right now. Some are buying brand new, while others are searching for a good used option. But the big question is, do you need to upgrade it right away? What's already installed and what's missing? Some mods are must-haves, while others are just nice additions. Maybe this is just my riding style, but I bet you'll learn something new. Or maybe you'll see things from a different perspective. How do I use my bike? I use it in 3 different ways. Everyday riding, commuting, running errands, city rides, adventure riding, gravel roads, light off-roading, shorter rides for fun and skill building. Long distance touring, 7,000 to 9,000 kilometer trips on highways and motorways. How I'll organize this video? I'll go over the bike itself, moving from front to back so I don't miss anything. This way, it'll be logical. First we'll talk about the front, then the middle, and finally the rear, including luggage and mounts. But first, an important note. If you're planning to buy this bike, make sure it comes with Tech Pack. This is a bundle of software features that can be unlocked. And honestly, it's worth it. These features actually make a difference. What's in the Tech Pack? First off, it includes the full Rally Pack. It unlocks Rally mode, and that alone is worth it. Rally mode delivers sporty engine response and full power, with the added ability to adjust slip control across 9 levels, from 1 for maximum spin to 9 for maximum safety. This gives you total control over how wild or tame the bike behaves off-road. You also get throttle response adjustment and, fair warning, wheelie control is disabled in Rally mode. So yeah, probably not for beginners. But that's just the start. You also get Quick Shifter Plus, clutchless, shifting both up and down. Once you try it, there's no going back. Motor slip regulation, MSR, works alongside traction control and the slipper clutch. It smooths out engine braking when you downshift hard or chop the throttle, helping prevent rear wheel lockup, especially useful on slippery surfaces. Heel hold control, HHC, keeps the brakes on when you stop on an incline, so you won't roll backwards while juggling the clutch and throttle like a street performer. And of course the most revolutionary feature, adaptive brake light. It flashes like crazy when you slam the brakes, because nothing says I'm stopping really hard like a mini light show. And all the hardware needed for these features is already on the bike. The Tech Pack is just a software unlock, no extra parts, no wrenching, just dealer magic. And if you've got a silver tongue, you can sometimes haggle it in like a pro, makes the deal feel sweeter, even if they act like they're doing you a huge favor. Okay, that was an important little detour. Now let's get back on track and go through everything, step by step. Tires. This is a huge topic, and every rider has their own preferences, but I'll share what worked for me. For city riding and long distance touring, I really liked Continental Conti Trail Attack 3. Great grip on asphalt, quiet, long lifespan. I can get over 10,000 kilometers per set as long as I'm not blasting down the highway at 140 plus kilometers per hour. Now for adventure riding. I tried Pirelli Scorpion Rally STR, excellent on sand, moderate noise level. But in slippery mud, an absolute disaster. They lose grip sideways without warning. I've had multiple falls in completely normal situations. I also tested Anla's Capra X. On asphalt, they slip like crazy. Traction control was constantly kicking in. In corners, easy to drift, wore out incredibly fast. They're not bad off-road, but I ride on asphalt too. I've decided these tires are not for me. Useful thing if you want to develop a skill for riding on slippery asphalt. That's why my favorite adventure tires are TKC 70 Rocks. Slightly worse in sand, but they don't slide out to the side. I still want to try TKC 80. Maybe a setup with TKC 80 in front and TKC 70 Rocks in the rear, could work. I think this will be my next purchase. Steering damper. I replaced the stock steering damper with a Hyper Pro steering damper. I even made a video on the installation. I'll leave a link. Why Hyper Pro? In 2021, this was the only available option for this model. The reason? The tank storage compartment and the potential use of a tank bag leave no space for standard mounting brackets used by other dampers. Why is a damper even needed? The KTM 1290 Super Adventure R has a tendency to wobble at speeds above 130 km per hour. On the S version, it's much better, and I've only seen wobbling at 220 plus km per hour. But on the R version, it can appear much earlier, especially if you're loaded with luggage or running the wrong tire pressure. This is really annoying on European highways. When the handlebars start shaking, it looks like I'm about to crash. Drivers around me have no idea what to do. Should they pass me or wait for me to wipe out? The damper didn't fix the issue completely, but it pushed the wobble threshold to 160 plus km per hour. That's already much more manageable. This damper is adjustable with a progressive characteristic. The faster the handlebars try to turn, the more resistance it provides. But at slow speeds, it doesn't interfere at all. I've heard that linear dampers are even better. They provide consistent resistance at any steering speed. And some say that, with a good linear damper, wobbling disappears completely. I haven't tested this yet, but I definitely plan to try it in the future. Windshield. Actually, not just one windshield, multiple ones. It turns out you can't use the same windshield for everything. When I bought my bike, it came with a low adventure style windshield. Right away, I also ordered a tall KTM windshield and an even bigger Puig touring screen. The low windshield is essential for adventure riding and gravel roads, doesn't block visibility, doesn't get foggy when dirty, allows more airflow into the helmet, which is great during physical effort, doesn't break in crashes. But on highways and in the city, it's terrible. Wind noise is unbearable. Wind blasts hit your chest and helmet, making riding more tiring. The best all-around windshield is the tall KTM version, the same one that comes standard on the S model. It blocks most of the wind. There's still some buffeting on the helmet, and you can't open the visor at high speeds, but the noise is significantly reduced. Most of the time, you're looking over it, so rain droplets don't block your view too much. I'd say it's the best choice for city rides and weekend trips. Right now, I use this windshield almost everywhere. Then there's the Puig touring screen. It's much taller. Completely blocks the wind. No noise, no wind pressure. You can ride at 100 plus kilometers per hour with an open visor, and it feels great, but side winds can still be an issue. You're looking through the windshield instead of over it. And here's the real problem. If you ride at night in the rain, visibility turns into a nightmare. After a few long, rainy trips, I stopped using this screen for touring. One more thing. I 3D printed an adapter to reuse the windshield from my old KTM. Why? Because like a true mastermind, I accidentally sold my SAR's brand new short screen along with the old SAS. Didn't even notice, until weeks later. 3D printing an adapter, cheaper and way faster, and then buying a new screen and waiting for delivery. And the buyer didn't say a word. Maybe he never got around to mounting it. Maybe he's still staring at it, wondering why it doesn't fit. We'll never know. Back in 2021, when I had the S model, I 3D printed my own wind deflector, something between a short screen and a standard one. Didn't block vision, reduced wind buffeting, felt better than the stock options. It worked so well that now I'm thinking of printing one for my new R model. Display protection sticker. I don't have one, and I already regret it. One day, I scratched my dashboard screen with my own hands, and I didn't even notice it at first. How did it happen? A tiny rock got stuck in my microfiber cloth while wiping off morning fog. I kept wiping, thinking everything was fine, until I saw the scratches. Now nothing can be done. Lesson learned the hard way. If I could go back in time, I'd install a screen protector immediately. Don't repeat my mistake. GPS bracket. An absolute must-have, and it's an OEM KTM part. Why? Mounts to the windscreen bracket. Installs in stock mounting points, no modifications needed. Universal plate, just a square with 4 holes which fits most GPS mounts. What makes it so good? Perfect positioning. The GPS sits right in your field of view, so you don't need to look down or take your eyes off the road. This is especially useful in the forest. You can glance at the GPS without moving your head. In comparison, the speedometer is lower, meaning you actually have to tilt your head to check it. Even a short windscreen protects the GPS from branches and rocks. I highly recommend this mount. It's one of the most practical upgrades. GPS, Garmin ZUMO 396. If I bought a mount, obviously I needed something to put on it. My choice, Garmin ZUMO 396. Why do I like it? Compact size, doesn't block visibility, clear in daylight, doesn't blind at night. But Garmin sometimes plots routes that don't exist and tries to send me straight into a swamp. Power connector is located behind the right side plastic panel. There's a dedicated port for accessories. On older models, this port was behind the headlight. Took 30 minutes to install, and now it powers on automatically with the bike. Why not just use a phone? I don't want to risk my €1,500 smartphone. Old phones overheated, though to be fair, so did the Garmin ones. And I was about to as well. Garmin's position is more convenient than a phone mounted lower, especially in busy city traffic, where you really don't want to take your eyes off the road just to glance at directions. 1 second of distraction there, and boom, you're part of someone's dashcam compilation. Progressive handlebar damping system. I ordered the original KTM handlebar damping system right away. Why? The KTM 1290 is a 2-cylinder monster, 650cc per cylinder. And yes, it vibrates. No matter what anyone says, the vibrations are real, and you'll feel them on long trips. This system reduces those vibrations, making the ride more comfortable. Bonus. It slightly raises the handlebar, which I appreciate since at 183 centimeters, the stock position was a bit low. One issue, check the bolts every few months, they tend to loosen, even with thread locker. The first sign? A knocking sound in the handlebars while braking. KTM now sells a new adjustable version, PHDS, Progressive Handlebar Damping System. Heated grips. On the KTM 1290 Super Adventure R, heated grips are an optional extra, so keep that in mind. Are they necessary? For me, absolutely. I wouldn't even consider buying a bike without them. I don't understand how some people ride in the rain with frozen hands, especially when their gloves are already wet. Which ones should you install? Go with the original KTM heated grips. Dealer installation includes software activation, so they integrate seamlessly with the bike's electronics. No extra switches or controllers. Everything works like stock. If you don't have heated grips yet, install them now, you won't regret it. Handguards. I use SW Motec Cobra handguard kit. I installed them right after my first crash in the woods. The stock guards, they only protect you from wind and mosquitoes, nothing else. The first time I gently dropped my bike in sand, the OEM handguards immediately broke. SW Motec design has a thick aluminum frame, which mounts to the handlebar at 2 points. The plastic shields flex, but your hands are protected by solid metal. I also recommend getting extended shields, much better protection from wind and rain. These guards have saved me more than once from thick branches and crashes. I think it's worth changing the handguards before the standard one fails. The KTM Power Parts website also offers reinforced protection options, so there's plenty of choice. Brake and clutch levers. I use the V-Trek Vario brake and clutch lever set. They have a few great advantages. Folding design. If you drop the bike, they fold instead of snapping off. Adjustable reach. You can set the distance from the handlebar to match your hand size. Adjustable length. Wide for 4 fingers, narrow for 2-finger operation. Even though these levers are strong, I still carry OEM spare levers when riding off-road or touring. Quadlock phone mount. I use Quadlock, and this was a conscious choice. I needed both horizontal and vertical mounting options. Secure fixation, vibration protection for the phone. I also bought the Quadlock vibration damper to prevent camera and autofocus damage. Wireless charging, worth it? I bought the Quadlock wireless charger, but I rarely use it. Why? It requires a powerful fast charging source, not just regular USB. The KTM's built-in USB only outputs 5 volts, which isn't enough, so my phone still drains on long rides. I bought the original Quadlock power adapter, which connects directly to the battery. It has 3 modes: on, auto, off. In auto mode, it shuts off automatically when not in use. The problem? The power adapter is huge and I still haven't figured out where to mount it. I want to keep manual control, so simply hiding it isn't an option. So for now, I just charge my phone the old-fashioned way, via cable. Quadlock has now released a wireless charger that connects directly to the bike's electrical system, but I'm not spending another 80 euros on it. Maybe later. 12-volt charger for accessories. Tried many options, but my favorite is Besia's Tiny Star Auto. Supports QC 3.0 fast charging. Sits flush in the socket, nothing sticks out. The cap doesn't fully close, but still protects from rain. Never had an issue. For convenience, I use a short USB-C cable with a 90-degree plug. Doesn't stick out, doesn't get caught on anything, doesn't vibrate in the wind. Oh, and it's red. This perfect setup charges my phone, camera, and remote in one go. Camera mounts. I have two permanent camera mounts on my bike, one on the right and one on the left. Why two? Originally the left mount broke on a trip, so I installed the right one. Later, I decided to keep both, since sometimes choosing a filming angle is useful. I use Insta361X2. Love the footage quality, so the mounts are definitely worth it. Camera remote mount Insta361X2. The remote needs a permanent place where it's easy to access while riding. My solution? A custom mount I designed and 3D printed. Why is it great? Holds the remote securely. Allows charging while riding. Most importantly, has been on my bike since day one and is still holding up. But now, with the Insta360 Pro, there's a new remote, so I'll have to design and print a new mount. Alright, we're 16 minutes in, and I'm still not done? Yeah, that's on me. I got carried away editing, DaVinci kept updating, and somehow this turned into a full-on project. Anyway, let's wrap part 1 here. Okay, I know, we've only made it as far as the handlebars. But somewhere along the way, I started to feel like this bike is 70% upgrades and only 30% KTM. In part 2, we'll finally move past the front. Luggage racks, panniers, and all the stuff that turns this beast into a real travel machine. See you there!